Okay, here we have the brand new app by Pyxwise called Simplex Spelling Phonics 2. Let's go ahead and have a quick look at the opening screen. A couple of things I want to show you before we get started on here are
user accounts.
User accounts. We can have Alexander, Benjamin. You can add as many people as you like and it'll keep the data for you on those accounts. You can select any user but just by simply doing this and selecting them. You can rename them, delete them, or create a new one. We can leave it on Benjamin for now. Let's go back out and have a look here. Now, if we click on the graph, I'm going to click the question mark down here and let it explain to you what this is all about.
Each time you spell a word without making any mistakes or using the hint button, it increases your correct count. In the settings menu, you can choose how many times you need to get a word correct before it is considered mastered. Once you have spelt a word correctly this number of times, it will appear on your mastered list. Otherwise, it will appear on your practice list.
Okay, so a little different from the other apps they produced in the past where you could get a mastered word by spelling it the first time. This one gives you the option of having to spell it a few more times. So let's go ahead and explore that.
Settings.
In the settings menu, we've got some volume settings, sound effects, and then you'll see times to master the word. So how many times it takes you to get it right, all the way from 1 up to 10. We'll leave it on 1 purely for this demonstration. Spelling language, again, American, Canadian, or British. We'll leave it on American. Success messages, on or off, we'll leave that on. And then you've got uppercase and lowercase letters. And you've also got the ABC keyboard for kids that aren't familiar, or people that aren't familiar with the QWERTY style. We'll leave it on QWERTY right now. Let's go ahead and save that. And what we're going to do is, because there's so much to look at this, so much to look at here, with all of this, and I'll go through this at the end very quickly for you, we're going to just go through the introduction to introduce you to this app. Again, if you're familiar with their apps, this is works pretty much the same way, but this is a brand new release, so it has some additional functions. So let's go ahead and look at the introduction.
Hello, and welcome to the lessons within Simplex Spelling. This lesson focuses on syllables. If you don't know what a syllable is, just press on the large button at the top of the lesson box. The slider is currently set for practice, so that students will not see their scores after reaching the end of the list. You can tap on the teacher icon if you wish to hear the lesson again, and once you're ready to start spelling words, simply tap on the arrow button at the bottom right.
Okay, so leaving the score on or off here
Scores.
will make data collection active on showing the student the scores or not. We'll put it on showing the scores, and let's go ahead and open this up.
Spelling. Hi, welcome to Simplex Spelling. The word spelling has 2 syllables or vowel sounds, and they are separated with a small white dot. Use the keyboard to spell the word spelling.
So you'll notice a little bit different of a layout from their other app. But let's go ahead and go through the introduction. We'll spell the word spelling. And you'll notice that the mastered came up straight away because we set that to 1 time being correct to be spelled would let us master that word. So let's move on.
Backspace. If you make a mistake, you can use the backspace key to remove a letter. Spell the word backspace.
Now I'll show you how that works just by getting one of the letters wrong at the end. So I've got the R instead of an E. I want to remove that. Press the backspace letter and we have the E. We'll move on to the next one.
Press. Press the button with a white star on it and use the phonogram sound buttons to spell the word press.
Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look.
S.
So we get the phonological sound.
S.
And we get letters or a combination of letters that have the same sounds as well. If they are not blue, then they obviously don't fit into the space because they're either the wrong sound or they're not, or they're too large to fit into that space. So we select the ones that are correct. Let me show you what this means at the end.
The letters L, F, and S are often doubled at the end of a base word when the last syllable contains a single vowel.
Okay. Let's move on.
Letter. You can drag a letter from the keyboard to any position within the spelling word. Try dragging each letter from the keyboard onto your word to spell the word letter.
Okay, so simply dragging them on there instead of typing by pressing. Nice fine motor activity.
Correct. If you see a blue letter in your spelling word, it means you've chosen the right letter, but it's in the wrong place. You can drag this letter left or right to move it to the correct position. When you spell the word correct, mix up some of the letters and then drag them into place. Spell the word correct.
So let's get the letters right and get them in the wrong position. So we've got C, O, R, E. So we've got all of the correct letters, but they're all mixed up in the wrong place. So we want to make the C beginning of the word, and then we want to put the O, and you can see they're all falling into place as we shuffle around, and then just change the last two at the end and we should be good to go. There we go.
Success. Once you spell your word correctly, you will get a success word. You can tap on this success word to hear what it says. Spell the word success.
And this is the word.
Mastered. Teacher. If you look at the first button above the keyboard, you should see an icon of a teacher. This is the lesson icon. If you tap on it, you will hear the lesson that pertains to your current spelling list. Spell the word teacher.
Let's have a look.
Hello, and welcome to the lessons within Simplex Spelling. This lesson focuses on syllables. If you don't know what a syllable is, just press on the large button at the top of the lesson box. The slider is currently set for practice, so that students will not see their scores after reaching the end of the list. You can tap on the teacher icon if you wish to hear the lesson again, and once you're ready to start spelling words, simply tap on the arrow button at the bottom right.
Okay, so what that does, it introduces you to the lesson that we are currently working on, as it was at the beginning of the first screen. So let's go ahead and hear what we have to spell.
If you look at the first button above the keyboard, you should see an icon of a teacher. This is the lesson icon. If you tap on it, you will hear the lesson that pertains to your current spelling list. Spell the word teacher.
So pressing the bubble button will help you to remember what word you're supposed to spell, which is very handy when you're old like myself.
Simply. The second button contains a speech bubble. Simply tap on this button to hear the sentence again for your current spelling word. Spell the word simply.
And we just did that demonstration, so we'll move through that one.
Divide. The third button is the syllable button. Tap on it to both see and hear how the word is divided into its syllables. Spell the word divide.
So this is a new feature in this app. Let's go ahead and tap on that.
Divide. Divide.
Which is very nice.
Divide. Corner. In the top left corner of the screen, you will see a button with an arrow on it. This is the navigation button. It will help you to navigate through the app. If you press on it, you will see the Home menu, the Progress menu, the Settings menu, the Help menu, and the Next Word and Previous Word buttons. Spell the word corner.
And we'll go back to that menu in a second once we finish the introduction.
Clever. From now on, I will say a spelling word, use it in a sentence, and say the spelling word again. For example, for the spelling word clever, I could say clever. If you can learn to spell well, people will think that you are clever. Clever. You've mastered 8 words. Sensational work.
Okay, so you can see that we got 8 out of 11 words mastered. The missed words were backspace, press and correct, and that will show you the list. Going back out here, we go back to the home screen. We could have pressed this button to pull that up. With the settings again, we could change anything on there. But what I want to look at very quickly is all of the options you have on the list. Now you can replay anything simply by pushing these buttons on the right hand side. But just look at the amount of lessons we have here for the Simplex Spelling Phonics 2. Such lessons as long O, open syllable, U, E, O, O, U, double consonants, silent E syllable, no V endings. The amazing list, and as you go through it, 54 different exercises within this app. Let's go ahead and have a look at one here. When you tap on them, they bring up the words that are in the exercise. If there's more than are on the screen, you can scroll up to see what they are, and you can do that for any of them, just to look through them. So this is the NG lesson, and as you can see, there's a lot on this one. If you like that and the idea is to play, just go ahead and click play.
Think. It can be hard to think when there is too much noise. Think.
And you'll notice that with this lesson, they put the word into a sentence. So it's not just about spelling the word, it's actually used in its correct context. So going through those.
Rethink. Rethink. Once Connor had realized that he'd made a mistake, he decided to rethink his solution. Rethink. Rethink.
I just want to show you something here. If we put too many letters in, or we are not sure of the letters that we've got in there, and the child adds some letters, you'll still see that the letters that show up in red are incorrect. The letters in blue are correct, but in the wrong position. So you can see here that we've got a J in there that doesn't belong, and we've got an N that does belong, but is in the wrong place. So if we switch those over, you'll see that we complete the word, and those two at the end become trash. Now, just to move them, you simply click on them, and they go into the trash. And then you continue.
Trunk. Trunk. The elephant grabbed the tree branch with its trunk. Trunk.
You can see where you are in the exercise, 5 of 16 words. You can go back at any time and go back out. You can go through different
Zinc.
words by skipping.
Sink.
Like this.
Sink. Single. Single.
You can go back out
progress.
and check how many you got right, what sort of progress you have with certain lessons that you've gone through, and simply by scrolling through, if you can see the lessons that we were on. We were just on this lesson here. We haven't mastered any, but we attempted to. Let's see if we got any. There we go. We got think, and we mastered those. So the app is so deep that it's a lesson in itself every single time the child uses it.
Single. Tristan could only find a single sock. Single.
I'm just going to head back on out here to close up. So like I was saying, it's such a deep app, and it's done so well that it really has endless possibilities, not just at home but in the classroom. Possibly even in therapy for kids that maybe want to work on fine motor skills or language and so on. So another great app by Pyxwise, Simplex Spelling Phonics 2 just came out, and I can say nothing bad about it. I highly recommend it, and if you don't have it, you should probably go get it.